On Monday, the 28th of August, one of South Africa's leading poultry producers, Rainbow, reinstated a second shift at their Hammarsdale plant in KwaZulu-Natal. This also coincided with the 60th anniversary of this plant. We're now joined by Marthinus Stander, the Managing Director of Rainbow, to discuss this matter further. Good day, Marthinus. Won't you, first of all, please just give us a brief overview of Rainbow's recent history?
Yeah, Susan, Rainbow was founded in Hammarsdale in KZN by Mr. Stanley Methven, and this specific plant called P2, because there was a P1 before it, was founded in 1963, so that's the 60 years. It was the biggest plant at the time in South Africa. He died in 1986, and it was then quite a turbulent period of mixed success for the company until a turnaround happened in 2000. Rainbow then gave birth to RCL when it diversified into fast-moving consumer goods. So in 2016, in that period, we saw large-scale dumping of what I call the spare parts, the leg quarters into our market, because that's our crown jewels, is what our consumers like, and braai and potjie and stew and curry and so forth. Also a period of high input costs. There were droughts around, so RCL made the decision to close one of the shifts of Hammarsdale. The company in the meantime grew specifically around FMCG. There was less focus on chicken, and the shareholders in about 2021 made the decision to give new focus to Rainbow and prepare it for an ultimate separation. So I rejoined. I was also part of Rainbow from 2007. And then from 2021, we proposed to the board that we bring back that second shift, mostly because you need the economy of scale of volume through a plant so you can have overhead recovery from the volume. So it's a long-term vision. It's tough times at the moment in the industry and in the economy, and we suffer from load shedding, and the rand dollar is not going our way, and we have water shortages, and there's looting, and roads are not great, and input cost is high. But it's a long-term view that we hold. So that project was launched, and that second shift was returned officially on Monday. And I think the most significant thing that one can say about this opening is we brought back the jobs. The industry is typically found in small dorpies in communities such as Hammarsdale. It was traumatic when that shift closed, and it was just amazing to see what it meant to the community when these jobs were returned. So yeah, it was a very special occasion.
This reinstatement goes hand in hand with a significant investment into the plant. Won't you please tell us a bit more about that?
Susan, yes, Rainbow invested and had the approval to spend 220 million rand on this project. It was mostly spent on the refrigeration in the processing plant, also allowing us to make more fresh products. And it was also spent on hatchery overhaul closer to Pietermaritzburg. So now we have the capacity to get back to the original volume. And then there was also a big investment on the part of contract growers. Yes, it gives them a big business opportunity. We give them offtake agreements, and then they can borrow money and then set up these chicken houses. They come at a cost of more than 6 million rand per house. So they spend collectively around 400 million in this process.
Through this investment, you were able to create and, even more importantly, probably reinstate jobs that were lost. Won't you please just expand a little bit more on that, Marthinus?
Yes, Susan, in 2016, we produced million chickens per week. When we then went to 600,000 because we closed the one shift, 1,053 people lost their jobs. 1,350 people lost their jobs. In the next few years, up to 2021, we crept up to 900,000 again, and about 427 jobs were added in that process, not an official second shift. And a lot of the people who lost their jobs in the first round were re-employed, which was obviously great. When we then got the okay in 21, the end of 2021, to reinstate the second shift, and we started spending the money, we added another 220 jobs in that process, and we still have 100 jobs to go. So about 850 jobs in that whole process of that 1,350. But then obviously some jobs also created with the contract growers on the farms. Previously, Rainbow had its own farms, but we're now using the contract growers, and lots of those jobs are now shifted to those contract growers. So yes, a good story. We're now back at 1.1 million birds of the original 1.2 million per week. And by June of 24, we'll be back to 1.5, which will exceed the 1.2 of 2016. So it's also a bit of a growth strategy. I think the other important thing, it's a long-term vision, as I said, in the wake of all the headwinds the industry, the country, the economy is experiencing. It's a long-term vision to bring Rainbow back in its rightful place as leaders of the industry. Rainbow was a true pioneer through the years in terms of integrated poultry processing, growing, so feed, breed, agri processing, distribution, and sales.
Then the Hammarsdale plant is 60 years old now, and yet in recent years, KwaZulu-Natal has seen quite a lot of rioting. Why is this province still a worthwhile investment for the Rainbow Group?
Susan, yes, Rainbow was founded in KZN, in Hammarsdale specifically. And if you talk about Rainbow, well, we think the storyline goes, you talk about chicken, you think of Rainbow. If you think of Rainbow, you think of Hammarsdale. So that's where we were born, where it all originated. So yes, there's a lot of turmoil of late, ranging from floods and looting and all sorts of things in KZN. I think in South African context, you're gonna battle to hide from almost randomly volatile events. And we are unashamedly from KZN, from Hammarsdale, and that's why we invest in that area as well.
Thank you, Marthinus. That was Marthinus Stander, and he is the Managing Director for Rainbow.